On Virgil, this one worries me. So this gentleman's name is Joseph Agbobli, and I think he works for, I don't know if it's Team Talk, Football Insider, or one of those outlets. This piece here said Virgil van Dijk is seeking a 2-year extension which would see him stay at Anfield until the summer of 2027. This part pisses me off though. And again, not to the journalist. If this is true, I'm really angry about it. It says, however, Liverpool are more likely to propose a 1-year extension with the possibility of a further 1 year. For me, I feel like this is kicking the can down the road. And I also would go as far as to say that Virgil deserves better than a 1-year contract extension offer. There are no indications or signs that he's getting worse, slowing down, that age is catching up with him. If anything, he's better than he was last year. Statistically, he's looking top notch. So, yeah, for me, if Liverpool are only offering him a 1-year deal, that is bullshit. And again, I have to say if, because we don't know. This is a report. But if it is the case that they're only offering him 1 year, what are you at? Honestly, what are you lads at the club? Like, it feels like they're intentionally making this deal more difficult than other clubs would do. Give Virgil a 2-year deal immediately. Don't even debate on it. 2-year deal. Thank you very much, Virgil. We look forward to seeing you for the next 2 years at Liverpool. He's deserving of it. His form is deserving of it. I don't understand this one. I don't. Stevie Boy, thank you, mate, for being a member for 5 months with us. Said, hearing VVD ask for 2 years on the same money. If that's the case, right, I'm going to be really blunt with you, Stevie Boy. If Virgil has asked for 2 years on the same money, and there wasn't a handshake in that room at that exact moment that those words came out of his or his agent's mouth, then we have fucking problems. We have problems. Because I tell you what, Virgil, if that was the case, said, I want the same money for another 2 years. That contract should have been being printed off before he left that room. That's shocking. Absolutely shocking. So, I hope that we don't hear of a 1 year. Because I feel like it's just kicking the can down the road and we're going to have the same headache next year. The same distraction next year. The same lack of commitment from the club to our captain next year. It just doesn't sit well with me and it doesn't look good for a player that is looking as good as Virgil is. It's tin pot. Jasper said, I think VVD is a player we should allow to retire at the club if he wishes to. I think Virgil van Dijk can play at the top level till he's 36, 37, 38. I really feel he's one of these lads that will go very late into his career because of his great understanding of the game, of positioning and reading the attacks. I think there should be no issues about a 2-year offer for Virgil. It should be straightforward. You know, it's madness. And I hope that that report isn't true, because if Liverpool are being this tin pot, it's just frustrating, lads. It is, if that's the case. Nickel and diming, at least FSG be able to say they tried. Do you know what though, Hex? Let's be honest, right? If Virgil refused to agree to that, and it came out that Liverpool had offered it to him, I wouldn't blame him for walking away. I wouldn't. I would understand the lack of belief from Virgil if that was the case. If the club had only offered him 1 year and they weren't budging on it, I'd be disgusted on his behalf, you know, because he deserves the 2 years. And I'm not saying that just out of love of the man. I'm saying that based off what we're seeing on the pitch week in and week out. Same with Mohamed Salah. I've no issues about Mohamed Salah getting a 2-year extension because I don't see a huge decline in 2 years. Now, there may be some drop off from Mohamed because forwards are more likely to have a drop off in pace and maybe reinvent themselves in a bit. But as Virgil gets older, his understanding of the game seems to be just getting better and better. So yeah, the whole thing just feels so unnecessary. And like we're dragging out situations that don't need to be dragged out this much. IFI Must said, Craig, Hughes needs to give his head a wobble if there's an ounce of truth to this report. Look, I'm going to speak to David on Thursday, and we'll ask David if he's heard anything along these lines that Virgil has been offered a 1-year deal, because I just don't see the sense of it, because we're going to have the same conversation next year. And half of next season is going to be taken up again with contract questions and uncertainty, and it just doesn't look well. Even if you're looking to go into the transfer market and bring in a player like a Zubamendi or somebody else, being able to say to them, Virgil's here for the next 2 years, Mohamed Salah's here for the next 2 years, Trent's signing on for another 4 or 5 years. That's talking about stability at the club. And that's one thing that we've been good at in modern times, is retaining our top players. So I don't understand why we're making such hard work of this.